I'm going to take this longer rectangle and this longer rectangle and stack them and roll them and I'm going to sit in Virasana. Well, somewhat, right? I'm going to sit with my knees wide. So I'm sitting on my pelvic floor, basically. So I feel the two sitting bones on the outer edge. And ideally, the shape of the blanket is going to just move up into the tissue of the pelvic floor. Feet close. Closing the eyes. And just noticing where you are in your sitting bones. Right, meaning are you tipped back towards the tailbone? Are you tipped towards the pubic bone? Where do you feel like you are weight-wise? And I don't think there's a correct, because we are all different. Some of us naturally fall to a posterior tilt and some of us naturally fall to an anterior tilt. So let's just do a little bit of movement. Very small, slow movement as you breathe. So letting your inhale find your sitting bones. The connection, right? The tissue attaching to the sitting bones. The inside, the back side, even the front side. And then I'm just going to super slow roll, right? Meaning micro movements towards the tailbone. So moving a little bit, 1/8 of an inch, pause, sink, settle, move a little more, pause, sink, settle. Again, move a little more, pause, sink, settle. And just continue that pattern. Moving, sinking, letting the tissue spread, right? When we start to initiate, the tissue starts to organize. And then, right, we're trying to keep it from organizing too much. And then as we then settle, relax, release, soften that pattern, whatever that pattern is. And then again, start to initiate, and you'll feel the tissue start to organize, start to engage, moving just a little, and then drop back, sink back. And move. And settle, right? The initiation being quite subtle, and then sinking back. So you're really using that, the rest cycle to roll or feed or inform the initiation. And as you roll closer to the tailbone and you feel the sacrum start to tip, right? Tailbone start to tip forward, top of the sacrum start to tip back. Maybe rolling over tailbone. Even further back. And then just starting to roll forward. Again, feeling it, right? The minute even the smallest initiation engages the tissue, there's almost a sense of it moving the bones up off of the surface that you're on. And we really want to let the bones keep settling, sinking. So we can almost compress the tissue or inform the tissue with the bone. Little movement, dropping, settling, sinking. Little movement, dropping, settling, sinking. And movement, and settle and movement and settle. Now tipping towards the pubic bone. This is slow tending. So if the mind feels very busy, distracted, just gently draw your attention back and noticing what that quickening, if there is a quickening in you, what it is. Sometimes just drawing your awareness to it helps it feel acknowledged. Rolling and settling. Rolling and settling. Rolling and settling. And then gently, gently rolling back. And drop into the bones, the weight of the bones sinking into the tissues, softening, spreading the tissue, and initiate that movement again. Softening, spreading, and moving again. Softening, spreading, moving again. Softening, spreading. And then find your way back to the perineum, that center tissue between anus and genitals, between sitting bones. Just aware of your inhale and your exhale. And palms together in front of your heart. And just acknowledging any need for nourishment, and inviting that to be met, maybe by a part of you that feels full and nourished. Oh. Okay, so just shifting forward, slide your roll out. Coming, actually just crossing the ankles, and let's stretch the legs forward. Okay, let's take the legs wide for a moment. And feeling the whole inseam of the leg now. So inner thigh, so inner feet, inner legs relate to pelvic floor. They're fascially connected. So just taking a few moments just to settle in, and let's go ahead and point the toes and flex and point and flex. Big circle at the ankle, letting the toes fan and spread. Curiosity in the feet, and then change direction. Good, let's take that right hand inside that right leg, left arm up to the ceiling. Reach up, look up, right? Letting the ribs rotate as you look up. Good, and coming up, and left hand inside that left leg, right arm up to the ceiling, reach up, and again, turn, look up. So maybe that left hand presses into the left leg to help you turn. And come on up. And again, Right hand down. This time really letting the right ribs tip towards the right side of the pelvis, left arm up. And let's take that left arm over. Good, reaching towards the foot, past the foot. And maybe even let that left hip lift off of the floor for a moment, just to help you lean over the right leg. And then slowly lower that left sitting bone to the floor. And come up, left hand inside the left leg, right arm up to the ceiling. Again, those left ribs dip towards the left leg. The right sitting bone is lift. Let the pelvis tip towards the left leg. Right arm up and over, reaching past the foot towards that left wall. And then slowly sink that right sitting bone down, feeling that open up that lower side waist. And come up one more time. Maybe the elbow comes closer to the floor. Again, left sitting bone is up, pelvis is tipping towards the right leg, left arm up and over. So either reaching towards the foot for the foot, or you can wrap your arm around your head and hold the underside of your head and take that left elbow towards the foot. And come on up, and left arm inside the left leg. Right sitting bone is up, so pelvis is tipping towards the left leg. Right arm up and over. Again, either holding foot or holding head, reaching through the elbow, either way. Elbow towards foot. And maybe right sitting bone starts to get heavy. And then come up. Okay, lifting the knees, crossing the ankles. Right, so I'm gonna unroll my roll because I want one of the blankets. I'm gonna roll it back up. So that I just, I can turn and do the other side. So left foot on the blanket. So the heel's on the floor, the front of the foot is up on the blanket, and the feet are parallel. Good, and you may need to even start with your right foot further back, depending on the tightness in your calf. Lower leg. Okay, so, and I'm just gonna soften into the foot, relax the foot, let it drape over that shape, and just roll the weight very slowly again, so the tissue doesn't start to engage a lot. I want to stay pretty mellow. Rolling towards the big toe side of the foot. Good, even on the outer edge of the big toe. And then rolling across. So big toes, first toe. So if you think about just identifying the toes as you move, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe, even towards the outer edge of that fifth toe. And then rolling back, little toe, toe next to it, the fourth toe, the one in the middle, the piggies, I don't remember their names. Second toe, first toe. Good, maybe even onto the inner foot, letting that inner foot collapse a little more, right? We want to let the arch collapse. And then rolling back across second toe. Right, that line of the foot in line with the second toe or third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe. So again, to the outer edge of the foot. Really stepping into that outer line. Outer foot takes a lot of our weight, especially in walking. And And come back to a center point. And just for a moment, let's take that right foot a little step forward. And I'm just going to shift my weight to the right and left and right and left, right? So as I shift left, I go back a little bit. As I shift right, I end up going forward just a little bit. And then bring the feet parallel. Step the left foot off. Notice the feet. Notice the stance through the legs. And sometimes it just changes the perception through the leg to start. Okay, so I'm going to switch it around and do the other foot. So right foot now up on the blanket, left foot parallel to toes facing forward, right heel on the floor, rolling towards the big toe side of the foot, great toe, maybe even towards the inner edge of the foot, the far edge of the big toe, center, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe. And then little toe, toe next to it, the middle toe, the second toe, the big toe. Let's take that left foot forward maybe half of an inch. And same thing, rolling on this far edge of the big toe, inner edge. Second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and fifth toe. And stepping that left foot forward a little more. This side is a lot tighter for me. Shifting right and left. Right, and again, slow, because we want the tissue to soften. Sometimes when we move fast, we're engaging the tissue, right, which we use at times. It's harder to get to those deeper layers, especially these, the back of the leg. We have the gastroc, the soleus, and we have 3 layers of muscles underneath the soleus. So there's a lot of active tissue in the back of the lower leg. For a reason, we need it. And then stepping back. And just feeling, right? It's going to change how you perceive your stance and your feet. Oh, yay. All right. So one more foot thing, and then we're going to move on. So bending that right foot. So I'm standing with feet parallel, but I'm going to let the right foot bend. The right knee bend, but I still want equal weight. So even though my knee is bending, I'm still allowing weight into that right foot. I'm just leaning a little bit, the whole body to the right. And then I'm just going to peel the heel off the floor with the knee bent. And slowly peel the heel up towards the ball of the foot. Just getting a little, as I have weight on the ball of the foot and I peel the heel up, there's just a little stretch happening or a little deformation in the foot, right? We want to let that inner foot or middle foot or towards the back towards the heel deform a little bit. And then up onto the ball of the foot, back of the ball of the foot, center, front, webbings of toes, length of toes, toe pads. Now I'm going to lift the heel even more, come up onto the toe tips, maybe not the little ones, and then roll over the toe tips onto the toenails. And then onto the toes, towards the webbings of the toes, rolling towards the little toe side of the foot. Again, nice and slow and easy towards the big toe side of the foot. Go slow. Center point, again, lifting the heel up, come up onto toenails, toe tips, toe pads, length of toes, webbings of toes. Put some weight here, and then slowly roll ball down, back of the ball of the foot. Slowly roll. See if you can find behind the ball of the foot, midfoot. Let it deform into the floor. And heel comes down. Good, and notice what you notice. And then switch sides. So left knee bends, but there's still weight in the left foot. Again, I'm just gonna start to peel the heel up, but there's still weight. Again, as I peel the heel up, I wanna feel the midfoot have some weight. It's not so easy to feel. And then keep rolling the heel up into the back of the ball of the foot. Center the ball. Front of the ball. Webbings of the toes. Length of the toes. Peel the length of the toes up. So just the pads of the toes are on the floor, and lift up onto the toe tip. Roll over onto the toenails. Length of toes towards the webbings. Even towards the top of the foot if you can. Rolling a little towards the little toe side of the foot. And big toe side of the foot. And center. And up on toe tips. Went through that kind of fast. Webbings, length of toes, toenails, toe tips, toe pads. Roll the length of the toes down. Feel the webbings come down. Heel is still lifted. And then slowly roll. Front of ball of foot. Center. Back of ball of foot. Slowly try to lay mid-foot down. And slowly lower heel down. Pause and notice. Okay, so let's grab our roll again just for a moment. And stand. Whoop. Stiletto style. So if you're close to a wall, you can put a finger on the wall and balance in the middle of it, middle of the roll. And if you don't, that's fine. You can balance with the midfoot straddling the high point, and maybe just roll towards, again, outer foot. And just notice what your foot, which part of your foot works more. Where's the density? Outer foot, center of that midfoot, or inner foot. And then maybe just bring balls of the feet on the floor, heels lifted. Let's take the feet a little, right, maybe a little wider than sitting bone distance apart. Arms forward, and I'm just gonna slowly bend knees and come towards a squat. And then come back up. Again, bending knees, lowering down. And slowly come back up. And only go as far down as you can control your way back up. Let's take arms up now as you bend your knees. And slowly come back up. So noticing how the foot deforms, how the ankle bends, how the knee bends. And down again. And straighten. Good, arms down for a moment and arms forward. So this time I'm going to come down and I'm going to lower myself down to rest, just for a moment. If you need to tuck a blanket under your, between your calves and your thighs, you can. If you need hands on blocks, you can. And then I'm just going to let my pelvic floor widen. Inhale, widen. And then as I exhale, I'm going to gather my perineum up towards my upper palate and slowly come right back up. I'll do that a little more quickly. Arms down for a moment. Arms up, inhale, down. Pause, let the tissue of the pelvic floor spread, and then exhale, come back up. And release. One more time, inhale. And exhale. And release. Okay, so blanket off to the side. Okay, we're just gonna play with some silly things. Some silly things. All right, so let's actually come on to hands and knees first. Prepare the body a tiny bit for the silliness. Palms under shoulders, knees under hips. Toes under. Just shifting the weight forward into the hands, into the webbings, finger pads, perimeter of hand, and back into the feet. Inner foot, outer foot. Shifting forward, shifting back. Maybe circle around the hands, change direction. And even one more time, change direction. Feeling the palm deform. Good, let's turn the fingers out to the side wall and shift side to side. And what does that mean, letting the palm deform? It's letting the bones move, right? Rather than holding the tissue so taut that the bones don't move. Now fingers towards the knees, allowing the bones to move. And sometimes that means slowing down. Okay, a little bit of forward and back. The fingers facing the knees. Spreading through the hands. Okay, palms under shoulders, knees under hips, squeezing. Shoulder blade push-up, squeezing shoulder blades together behind the body, spreading shoulder blades apart. Back gets wide. So initiation happens at the shoulder blade, drawing in towards the spine, away from the spine. So the spine stays pretty neutral, or it's not initiating, it's just following the movement of the shoulder blades. Squeezing in and spreading, squeeze and spread. 3 more, squeeze, spread, squeeze, spread, squeeze, and spread. So let's take shoulder blades now up towards the ears, down towards the hips, and up and down, right, as if shrugging the shoulders, and then pulling the shoulder blades towards the hips, and shrug, and draw down, shrug, right? Feeling what's happening in the top of shoulder as you shrug, or under shoulder as you pull down. Good, last one. Okay, so I'm gonna let my knees come together. And I'm just gonna play with taking my right foot. So it's gonna start connected to the left foot, and then I'm gonna take it out to the side. Out to the right side of the room and back, and then left foot out to the left side. And so the tailbone maybe follows and back, and maybe try one without the tailbone following. So the movement's just at the hip joint, left toes out. It's this internal rotation at the hip joint. And left toes out and in, right toes out and in, left toes out and in, and then maybe let the tailbone move a little. A couple more times on each side. Okay. And then I'm going to let my right toes pull out and shift my weight onto my right shin, right hand, and extend that left leg out towards the bottom of the mat, left arm up towards the ceiling. Reach up, look up. Even take that left arm back. A little bit of rotation and extension in the upper spine. Sacrum moving forward. And then let that left hand right round the back as that left hand comes to the floor. Let the left hand, left palm come down. Let the back stay rounded. And as if still trying to turn to the left. And then left knee to meet the right knee, left toes out to the left. So left foot stays on the floor, left hand, right leg extends towards the bottom of the mat, right arm up to the ceiling. Reach that right arm back, turning the rib cage towards the ceiling. Again, sacrum moves forward, so the front hips, right? Hip flexors get a little bit of movement. That outer right hip gets a little bit of opening. And then right arm comes down, nice rounded back as you come down. Hat shape, but I'm still turning to the right. And then maybe lift and turn to the left. Good, knees together. Right knee out, or right foot out to the side. Extend that left leg, left arm up. Take that left arm back. And then maybe down, just kind of sweep it down, rounding the back, shoulder blades spread, and then sweep that left arm up. And then maybe left arm overhead, reaching away from the left foot. And then up and back and down, palm down, rounding the back, letting the back ribs spread and lift. Knees together, other side, left foot out to the side, right leg extends to the bottom of the mat. Right arm up. Reaching back with that right arm, rib cage turns towards the ceiling. And just a couple times, sweep that right arm down, rounding the back, shoulder blades wide, and back up. Extension, shoulder blades together. One more rounding. And extending, and then take that right arm overhead away from the foot. Nice long side body stretch. Again, sacrum forward, so there's a little bit in that front hip. And right arm up, and then down, rounding the upper back. Spreading those back ribs, the knees together. Okay, one last time. Right foot to the right. So this time I'm going to take my left foot to meet my right foot. So as I keep the right hand and knee on the floor, let the left toes stay with the right toes. And left knee opens up away from the right knee. Up towards the ceiling. Toes are still together. And then again, sacrum moves forward. So I'm kind of in a floating, little bit of a back bend here. Maybe the arm comes overhead for a moment. And then right hand or left hand to the floor, left knee to the floor, rounding. Knees together, rounding here. And then feet back towards the center line. So left foot out to the side, right foot follows, toes come together. Left hand and knees down the floor, right knee lifts, right arm lifts. And sacrum moves forward. Ribs turn towards the ceiling. Maybe the arm comes overhead. Almost like a bow pose, floating in the air. And then right hand comes down, right knee comes down. Lift, spread those back ribs. Come back to center. Let's do simple downward dog. Walking the feet to the hands, bend the knees and round up. Back of my mat. And we're going to do a little movement forward. So using my squat. So I'm going to turn my toes out. So toes turn out, so the knees are going to follow the toes. The knees are going to move more in a plie position than what we were doing earlier with the knees parallel. Okay, so bending the knees, coming down low, and then I'm just going to shift my hands forward. Then I'm just going to shift my weight into my hands and lift my butt and hop my feet forward just a little bit, and then come up to stand. Right, making it light and graceful, bending the knees, getting low, reaching forward, hands to the floor, shift the weight into the hands, butt comes up, feet come forward, hands come up, straighten the legs, and lower, and reach, and lift, and just hop or glide the legs forward. Good. We'll come back into that in a moment. So turning direction, toes still out, squatting, and coming up. Then I'm going to turn to the right leg, pivot on that left leg. So my right toes can stay turned in slightly, or I can turn them forward. Reaching that right arm up, opposing that left leg. I'm just going to tip forward onto that right leg. Modified warrior 3. And then come back, keeping those left toes behind me. And I'm going to just pivot, step back with the left foot, turn the feet again so the toes are slightly out. And again, squat. And come up, pivot towards the left leg. So spinning, right toes stay on the floor, left toes turn out slightly. Left arm up to oppose that right leg. Simple warrior 3. And come back up. Step, come back to center, and squat. And up, pivot towards the right leg. Ooh, right arm stays up, left leg back and up. Modified warrior 3. And come up. And pivot with the feet and squat. And lift. Turn. Left arm up. Right leg back and up. And down. Pivot back to center. And squat. And up. Turn towards that right leg. Right arm up. Left leg back and up. And down. And center. Toes out, knees out. Squat. And up. Pivot towards the left leg. Left arm up. Right leg back and up. And center. And squat. And up. Yay! Okay. Feet maybe just a little bit more parallel. I'm just going to fold forward over my legs. Simple Prasarita Padottanasana. The legs don't have to be that wide. They can be if it feels good. I'm just going to walk my hands towards my right leg. So my toes are still pointed forward, so there's a little bit of a side bend, especially through from left hip to left hand. And then slide the left arm across to the left leg. Right arm follows. So I'm feeling not only
right? Just that side stretch from right hip to right shoulder to right arm. And I'm feeling the outer edges of my legs. And then slide across to the first side. And slide to the left. As if turning the belly button towards the left leg. And then this time as I slide to the right, I'm going to let my right foot turn to the right. Left foot turn in. So I'm a little bit more of a traditional Parsvottanasana. Turning towards that right leg. And then pivot on the feet, slide around. Turn the left toes out. Right toes slightly in. Again, more traditional Parsvottanasana. One more time, slide to the right. So this time, maybe let the hands come on the outside of that right foot and swing the hips to the left. And I'm just getting different tissues around the outer hip, back of hip. Swinging around to the left, pivot on the feet, left foot's facing the left side of the mat, right foot slightly turned out. Hands on the outside of that left foot, turning past the left foot. And then come back to center. Pause for a moment, hold your ankles, let your head hang. And then hands on hips, draw your chest forward and up. Okay, so this next part, you may or may not want to use a block. So same pivoting, right? I'm just gonna pivot right foot out, left foot in. Okay, so right foot's forward, take that left arm to the ceiling, reach it up. So I'm gonna keep those front ribs slightly dropped, tailbone slightly dropped for the first one, and come down through a flat back. Left hand finds the floor, right arm up to the ceiling. Turn and look to that right arm. Pivot or anchor those legs. Reach that left arm forward, reach the right arm back, and come up. Second side, pivot on the feet. Left foot, turn to the left side of the room, right foot slightly out. Right arm up. Left arm reaching down, but as I pivot forward, as I fold forward with the spine, right arm comes forward and down, left arm comes back and up. Turning to the left, left arm up. Reaching up, looking up. Shift the weight back to the legs, reach the right arm forward, left arm back. Come up, first side again. Pivot to the right, left arm up. Reaching forward with the left arm, back with the right arm. Left hand down, right arm up. Come out the way you came in. Second side. Making it graceful, fluid, pretty. Reaching forward with the right arm, back with the left. Up with the left. Turn, look up to the left. Shift back to the legs. Come up one more time, each side. This time, reach up with that left arm, look up. Again, the sacrum's moving forward, tailbone slipping down. So there's a little more length in the lower back and extension in the upper back. So as I come down, left hand down, right arm up, I'm using that extension just to help find a little rotation or maybe rounding. Feel what works for your body. And then shift back to the legs to come up. Second side. Reach up, look up. Take that nice long front body, long back body, right hand down, left arm up, look up. and come up and center. Okay. All right. So let's add one more element to that. Again, you may want to block. Feet shorter distance. As you can see, I'm playing with a short distance so I can have my ability to transition. So same setup, right foot facing right side. Left toe slightly turned out. Left arm up. Reach up, maybe look up for a moment. Tipping forward again, same thing. This time I'm going to shift, or I'm going to reach past that right leg. Left hand comes to the floor, left leg ascends, right arm reaches up, maybe turn and look up. And shift back and come up. Again, same transition, we're just shifting to a different pose. Left toes to the left, right foot slightly out. Reach up, look up, reaching forward. Bend that left knee so I can reach an extra little bit. Reaching that left arm back. So as I kick that right leg up, that left arm's already lifting with. Maybe turn and look up to the left. Step back. Smooth out the transitions. First side. Right toes out. Reach up. Look up. Come down through a flat back. Bend that right knee. Reach a little further forward. Step that left leg up. Reach up. And back. And up. Through center. Other side. Reach up. Look up. Flat back. Bend that left knee, reach a little bit, step that right leg up. And down. And back to center. Yay. Okay. All right. So back to the front edge of your mat, or the back edge of your mat. Toes turned out. We're going to do our little squat hop. Squat hop. Just thinking cat. They don't quite move this way, but sometimes when they're hunting. Okay, so bending, reaching forward, hands on the floor, shifting my weight forward, hips up. Right, so again, I'm trying to make it somewhat elegant. And bending, reaching, planting the hands, lifting the hips, and come forward. And come to stand. Sometimes pointing the toes helps to lift the hips a little higher. Bend the knees, reach, plant the hands, again, lift, come forward, and come up to stand. Okay. All right. Two more silly things. So we're just going to play with a little bit of hopping. We're thinking about handstand, but I'm just going to shift our orientation a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my hands in the center of the mat and my left foot on the left side of the mat and my right leg up. So instead of thinking of kicking up into a handstand, I'm going to think about kicking up high enough to get my left foot on the right side of the mat. So again, I'm going to kick and travel, and kick and travel, right? It's just a way to change our perspective of what we're doing. So instead of thinking, kicking up to handstand, I'm trying to find enough height to travel, which then I find more height because I'm not afraid of going over. And then the other side. Right foot on the outer edge of the mat. Left leg up. And again, I'm going to kick up. So I need to get the hips high enough to get that right foot to the left side of the mat. And back to the right side. And maybe off the edge of that left side of the mat, off the right edge. Switch legs. One more time. Hop across and back each side. Left foot to the left side of the mat. Right side. Left side. Right foot on the right side of the mat. Hopping left and right. Come back to center. Bend your knees and round up. Okay. So let's now grab 2 blocks. Stepping on the blocks, feet towards the center, towards each other. Bending your knees. So here, heels are going to lift, hips are going to lower, hands onto the floor. Right, so my knees are outside of my arms. And I'm going to let my knees hug into my arms. And the arms are wide enough so that my arms can push out against my knees, knees in against my arms. Head is up, and I'm just going to shift my weight forward. Again, coming up onto the toe pads, toe tips, squeeze the legs into the arms. And remembering our cat pose, I'm going to try to lift my mid back to the ceiling to get off of the block. And back on the block. And come down. Good, straighten the legs. We'll try it one more time, but straightening the legs, maybe the hands are on the blocks, maybe the hands are on the floor. And then let's try one more time. Good, lift the heels, lower the butt, hands wide, arms push out into the inner knees hug into those upper arms, upper arms, armpit. And I'm not really lifting my butt, but I'm shifting my weight forward. Again, webbings, toe pads, toe tips, squeeze the arms, lift the mid back, lift, think about big cat pose to lift up. And then come down and stretch your legs forward and shake your legs. Yay. Okay. Woohoo. All right, so just sitting with the legs straight out in front of you. And let's actually take right leg over left leg. Arms forward. And so arms forward and slightly up. So as I come forward, I'm going to start with a long spine. Letting the pelvis move in relationship to the legs. And then letting the back round. And then curling the crown of the head towards the pubis. And rolling up to sit. Good, one more time. Arms up, slightly forward and up, lifting up. Right, maybe even hold or interlace fingers or hook thumbs or just to reach up, reach forward, nice and slow. And then round. And then continue to round, crown of the head towards the pubis. And come up to sit. And then let's take the arms forward and slowly round down by pulling the feet into each other just to help slow everything down. Arms overhead, arms back up to the ceiling. Lift the head, squeeze the feet into each other. You can use the hands on your legs to come up, round up, sit up, reach forward, round, curl, and come all the way up. And let's change sides. Left leg over, right leg. Reaching up, reach forward, round down. Curl the crown towards the pubis. Get nice and round through the back body, through the front body. And up you come. Reaching up, reaching forward, reaching past the feet, then rounding over the legs, then curling the head into the pubis. And coming up to sit. Again, arms forward. So almost trying to pull the legs apart by pulling the feet into each other as you roll down. So squeezing the feet into each other and as if pulling the legs apart. Round down, nice and slow. Arms come overhead. And then arms back, forward, curling the head up, shoulders up. Maybe the hands help you come all the way up. Reach up, last time, reach forward, round, and then round all the way up. Okay, so one last time, we're gonna round. Yeah, we'll round down. Just make sure your blocks are handy. Okay, so arms up again. This time rounding down. Legs not crossed. Arms can reach forward. Trying to lay the spine down segmentally as much as you can. And arms overhead. Just reaching the arms away from the legs. Feel that nice length, reach, stretch through the body. Good. And then bending your knees. Feet on the floor. So I'm going to grab my blocks and I'm going to put them on the middle height. You can also do the lower height. That's fine. But I'm going to put them in a oblique angle, right? Meaning that the blocks are going to be under my sacrum close to each other, extending down towards my feet and wider. So a slight V shape, closer to each other around my sacrum, further apart around my outer hips. So pressing feet into the floor, you can even press into the ball of the feet, lift the heels. And a little posterior tilt, pull the knees away from the face, roll up again, just enough to get those edges of the block. So it's if the points, the corners of the block are holding up my sacrum. And the edge of the block as it angles out towards the outer hips. It's just having a little presence in that glute tissue. And again, I want to maybe put a little
Right, just hold the blocks, lift the ribs up, slide the ribs away from the pelvis, just so the pelvis feels like it's relating to the ribs or tipped towards the ribs rather than in a back bend or neutral. And let's take feet together, knees apart. Again, you can always move the ribs away, again, just to keep the pelvis from tipping pubis towards the floor. Either hands on ribs or hands away from body. Just letting your breath slow down. Letting your exhale slow down and feel complete. You're emptying the body of breath. Let's go ahead and add a count to the breath. Exhaling 4, 3, 2, 1. Pausing for 2, 1. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause for 2, 1. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Slight shift. Pause 3, 2, 1. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause 3, 2, 1. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax the breath. Smooth it out. The breath is it's a very interesting dance with the nervous system, and changing the breath in any way can cause a ripple or as you feel it, right? You can become anxious as the breath changes. And let's bring the knees together, stepping on flat on the feet. Feet parallel, legs parallel. Trying to relax the inner thighs, buttocks. Softening feet, lower legs, knees, thighs, hips. And letting the breath stay long, not by force, but more by allowing the body to soften, allowing the breath to stay present, But as we keep adjusting and fine-tuning our response to the breath, we're having an impact through the whole system. It's like combing or untangling or washing or soothing our system of perception, sensation, response. Good. Walk the feet just a little closer to the body. Maybe lift the heels. Again, draw the knees towards the toes. Lift the thighs. And slowly, slowly roll down. Take your time. Slow yourself down. Mind is very fast. But it's only one piece of us. It's only one aspect of our being. So allowing yourself to respond to witness, to become clear in relationship to other aspects of your being. Extending your legs when you're ready. Arms away from body, palms up or down, or hands on body. Listening for, feeling for the movement of your body with your breath. That rhythmic motion, like the swelling and the settling in the ocean. And feeling the fullness of who you are. Like that part of you that exists almost beyond the body, beyond age. Beyond your income, class, or your gender. A part of you that feels very similar to how you felt when you were a child. You. It feels like you. It feels like your essence. Maybe noticing where you get nourished from. The sense of the flavor of you. And what is that sense of nourishment that comes from outside of you? Or maybe it's from welling up from within you, but it feels more universal. Expansive.
you might feel standing at the ocean or in a redwood forest or on a high mountain. Or watching the whales, a dolphin. Sense of life all around, intelligence all around. Just some gentle movement in your fingers and your toes, your arms and your legs. Gently making your way onto your side and up to sit. Feeling the length through your center line, right, as an invitation for your breath, for your presence. With that alignment, it's almost like an attunement. Palms together in front of your heart. And just honoring what you have received, what you have offered. Om